Hey, this is Mr. Technical Barry Horowitz, and you're watching Five Star Takes. Give yourself a big pat on the back and watch a great, awesome podcast, if you will. And I will, and so will you.
All right, it's been a little while, but we are back. Shane, how are you this evening?
Oh, listen, I'm good. I'm tired. We took last week off due to various reasons. I was at a 4 day rock and roll concert. We'll blame that. Seeing Metallica. DDJ, what's your favorite Metallica song? Sandman.
You know what? Honestly, that's up there. But to be honest with you, I actually really like their cover. A couple other ones I like. I like the Four Horsemen.
Hell yeah, you do, Dennis.
Well, not only because that was Warhorse before he went in his current incarnation. When he was when he was in his original. I like that. Also, the closer for my Milwaukee Brewers, Trevor McGill. That's when he comes out of the bullpen. That's the song that we play. So there's that. Like I said, I do like Enter Sandman because I've said this before. I think the Sandman's entrance is the best of all time. So that brings back a lot of fond memories. I do. I'm a huge fan. You've heard of Bob Seger and the Silver Bullet Band, right?
Yes. I saw Bob Seger on his last tour.
Very cool. But he did the song "Turn the Page."
Yes.
Right? I like really like Metallica's version of that. I think that's really good.
Oh, nice.
That one. I also do. I also am a pretty big fan of Master of Puppets as well. So
I've
got
sure.
a few that I like and stuff. So, but those are
what's
just
your
some of them.
All right, Dennis. What's your favorite Korn song?
God, I don't think I know one Korn song.
You don't freak on a leash. Feeling like a freak on a leash, and then he does like the metal scat, the boom pop boom pop boom pop.
I think it's not real. I'm not really much of a Korn guy. I think the most, I guess the most I've ever been really exposed to Korn was when they were in that one Halloween episode of South Park. I think it was like season 2 or 3.
Oh man, what about Linkin? You like Linkin Park?
Yeah, I like Linkin Park.
Oh,
what I've done from the first Transformers movie, New Divide, in the end.
It starts with one thing, yeah.
And then I've become so numb.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, Numb, dude. Numb's pretty good. All right.
And then the version they did with Jay-Z as well. I actually like that version as well. The collab they did with Jay-Z on that song too.
Oh, Numb Encore to me is the greatest collaborative song of all time. It is.
Ooh,
it is unbelievable. Like, it's perfect. Just the way everything that whole record is good. The Collision Course.
Mm-hmm.
2007, it's so good.
I don't know about if I would say that. That's definitely in the conversation when it comes to collabs, but I will see that. I will throw in Run
3-man band.
Oh, you're so lucky I didn't have the X queued up at the moment because that would have been. You know what? Fuck it. I found it there. But no, I would say, God damn it! Now you made me lose my train of thought.
Sorry, I'm so sorry. All I could think was 3MB, and I had to.
Yeah. So talking
collaborative effort.
Okay, I got it back. So I will see Numb Encore. I will see that, and I will raise you Walk This Way with the collaboration between Run DMC and Aerosmith, because from my understanding, that basically salvaged Aerosmith's career.
Yeah, well, I don't know if you know this about me, Dennis, but I don't like Aerosmith that
much. All right.
It's it's definitely cool, right? Because like it's clear like that song did what it did to clear the way for something like Collision Course, you know, to exist. Also, man, you gotta include Anthrax and Public Enemy on Bring the Noise, dude.
God, I haven't listened to that. Oh, excuse me.
Turn it up.
I'm actually gonna have to throw
Bring the
that on
noise.
when we get done recording here. And I got here's a little one, and this might be a little bit obscure, but this is a song that I very fondly remember from my childhood, especially growing up in the era that is the 80s. It's a collaboration. It was Wipeout, but it was a collaboration that was done by the Beach Boys and the Fat Boys.
Who the fuck are the Fat Boys?
Oh my God. How old are you again?
28.
So it's 28. So you were born in 96, 97?
Yeah, in 96. I'll be 29 at the end of the month.
Okay, so you know what? I can let that one slide because the Fat Boy, go look them up online. But basically, they were this rap group.
Okay.
You know, and they're like, I think there was like 3 of them, and they were all like, for lack of a better term, fat.
Well, yeah,
they
rapped. That's why they were called that.
Like I said, go look them up online. They were very, very big in the 80s and stuff, and they did a collaboration with the Beach Boys on the song Wipeout. And
Did they lose weight in the 90s?
Honestly, I do not know. But
you said they were big in the 80s.
But oh God. Sorry, it was a long day at work, and plus that was really bad. So
dude, don't do it. Don't do it.
Do what? This?
Oh, dude, it's 6 minutes and 48 seconds, and I've already been X'd twice. All right, dude, run the intro before I get another one. Damn it!
Well, that was a rabbit hole I didn't expect that we were going down, but that was actually pretty fun.
Yeah, hey, you never know what you're gonna get in the 5 to 10 minute 5-star take intro.
I know, right? But that was good stuff. You know, our pre-intro dialogue is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're gonna get.
Yeah, speaking of, you never know what you're gonna get, and not featured in the intro, dude. Look what I brought.
Ooh.
Leftover, not drank this weekend.
All right, so you were at, I believe it's called Sonic Temple was the name of the festival.
Mm-hmm.
I actually, from everything that I've seen on my Facebook feed, a lot of people I know were there, actually.
It sold like 155, 140, 80, like 155,000 tickets.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean that's not 155,000 people there. That's one ticket per day, but it's
still a lot.
Yeah, it's an unbelievable amount of people, and it was packed this year. I have never seen that festival more packed from start to finish. Yeah, I mean it was nuts.
Yeah, I had one of my really good friends. My friend Patrick was there. He was excited because he got to see Metallica. He posted a video, and you mentioned talking about Enter Sandman. He posted a video he took of them playing Enter Sandman and stuff.
They closed out night 2 with it. I was booking it to the car to get out of the parking lot.
Oh God, I could only imagine what that would have had to have been like.
Oh, people were saying both night 1 and night 2 has taken them like 3 hours to get out of the parking lot. It
Oh,
it took us like an hour night 1, and then the rest of the nights 10 minutes.
that's not bad. Now
No,
I'm
not at
assuming you
all.
went. I'm assuming you went with Wade.
Yes, Wade, and then a couple of my other buddies
Mhm.
came. My friend. Well, they're both named Nick, but
Nick 1 and Nick 2.
yeah. Nick, my buddy Nick from Tennessee sometimes tunes in, so he's always requesting more Isaac. So if he
Oh,
tunes into this one, you don't get Isaac, but you do get a shout out.
shout out to Nick from Tennessee. Thanks for listening, buddy.
Yeah, thank you, Nicholas. I do want to give him credit. He did go to pretty much all of the festival this year after last
Mhm.
year showing up at 2 p.m. every day. I hounded him about that all year, and I will give him credit as he was there at pretty much 12 or earlier every day. So, um,
You know what? To me. I sometimes I like going to big events in places. Where sometimes there are a lot of people. I said the peek behind the curtain. Friday night, I'll be up in Milwaukee going to the Brewers game. Actually, our our friend Giovanni Tuhati, the hot one, is actually swinging by. Probably by the time this episode drops, he will have come and picked me up from my house, and we will probably be in the midst of eating breakfast before heading up to Milwaukee for the weekend. He's actually going to his first Brewers game, and we're meeting my nephew, who I usually go to the games with up there. We're going up there to the game Friday night, and then we're actually staying in Milwaukee all weekend because they have a sports card and memorabilia show, and a lot of Brewers players will be there. So I will be adding a lot of autographed items and pictures to my collection. So I'm pretty excited about that. I think I'm more excited for Jovan to experience American Family Field for the first time. So
yeah, I'm sure that'll be a ton of fun. You'll have to show off some of the stuff you got next week. I've never been to a I mean, okay, so I can't say I've never been to a pro baseball game because I've been to like minor league games. We have the Columbus Clippers here, which I believe is the Guardians. Um uh you know,
AAA Phil is like
AAA
triple.
team. And that's always fun. I mean, our park is super nice. Um Dennis, when you're done looking up whatever it is you're looking up, take
I was just confirming your yes, they are the AAA affiliate of the Cleveland Guardians.
yeah, take a quick look at it's called Huntington Park. Take a quick look on your phone. But I've been there. I've never been to an MLB game though.
It is a wait. So Huntington Park. Okay, do I need to put like Huntington Park Stadium because I put in Huntington Park and the first thing that came up was a city in California.
Oh yeah. I would do Huntington Park, Clippers, Columbus, Ohio,
Oh, got it,
baseball.
got it. Okay, Huntington Park. Ooh, that is a nice
It's
stadium.
so nice.
And that's so. But yeah, no, I've actually because I really don't have any. Like the thing is with the Brewers, the closest like of all the minor league teams in their system, the closest one I believe are the the Brewers High A affiliate, which is the Wisconsin Timber Rattlers, and I believe they are based in Appleton, Wisconsin, which is about an hour north of Milwaukee. So I mean, it's within a reasonable drive because it's about 2 hours to get from my place to Milwaukee, where the stadium is and stuff. And I mean, just an hour north wouldn't be too bad and stuff. So,
Nah,
but like,
3 hours for a minor league game is a lot. You can always go check out some of your local teams. Just catch a game. I mean,
oh yeah,
I
we've got a couple of like the like independent like of the independent leagues that they have. There's a couple
yeah.
of teams that've got stadiums that are close. Like I've got the Kane County Cougars, who at one point were like the AAA affiliate for a while. I think when they first started out, they were an affiliate of the Marlins. Then I think they eventually became I think the last team major league team they were affiliated with, I believe was the Diamondbacks, and that ended a few years ago. But they still, I believe that they won their league's championship last season. And then we also have the Schaumburg Boomers, who are, I believe, in another independent league. And that stadium, like the Kane County Cougar Stadium, is about 20 minutes south of me. The Schaumburg Boomers, they have a stadium that's about, I want to say about 20 to 25 minutes east of me. They're actually not too far from where my mother-in-law lives.
Yeah, no, I mean, now that's a acceptable distance to drive for a.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And the really nice thing about those types of stadiums is that they are very kid friendly. There's a lot of stuff for kids to do there.
Yeah, I mean, but they're also just family friendly, right?
Absolutely, yes. I've gone to Kane County Cougars games. I've gone. It's been a little. I think I don't remember if I went last season, but I've gone a couple times with like me, my wife, and my son. We've gone sometimes with friends and stuff. And I mean, it's a really good time. And like you said, they're very family oriented. But man, I'll tell you that there is nothing like just going to a major league game live. I mean, just when you're driving up there and when you get to where you see the stadium in the distance, because you're close. And then, you get there and it's just, you're like going on. I mean, I've been to games at American Family Field. I went to 5 games in 2023. I want to say 13 games last year. This game coming up on Friday will only be my second game this season because I'm trying to scale back to maybe doing one, maybe two, no more than 2 a month, and stuff, just to kind of scale back. But man, there's just nothing like just going to the ballpark and walking in the stadium and you just see that big, beautiful, well-maintained field and just, all the smells of all the different foods and just everybody's
pageantry.
Yes, the pageantry, just you go to some of these parks and just the friendliness of the people that work there. Like I've made friends with a few of the people that work up at American Family Field and stuff, and I'm always just as excited to go see them and as I am the game and stuff. But man, it's just this fun time. I mean, when are you and Wade coming to Chicago again?
August.
Okay. I mean, if you guys have time, if you guys have time in your itinerary, because you guys are going to be up for quite a while, aren't you?
A week.
If you guys,
yeah, I mean, we pretty much have we have something to do. Like the first full day we're in Chicago, I believe, and then we have something to do the last day, full day we're in Chicago. But other than that, we got nothing to do in between.
I mean, honestly, do yourselves a favor. I mean, it'd probably be cheaper to go to a White Sox game because they are absolutely horrible. Not as bad as they were last year, not as bad as the Colorado Rockies are doing this year, but you probably stand a better chance to getting a good seat at a decent price if you go into a White Sox game. But I mean, again, this is coming somewhat from someone who roots for the Brewers here in the same division of the Cubs, man. But if you get a chance, dude, you got to go experience Wrigley Field.
Yeah, I mean, well, I think that'll be more of a last minute decision. Neither he or I are very into baseball. I'm not saying I'd be against it, but
no, I mean, it's just something to do and stuff. But
I mean, who knows? Maybe we could wake up and I could take a look and we could get nice, decent seats for cheap enough, and then we can go from there. But I want to bring it back real quick. We were talking about family friendly, minor league baseball stadiums, family friendly events. Well, I want to take it to something not very family friendly.
What's that? Oh.
I hate to bring it down, but we should eventually get into wrestling, and we lost a number of wrestlers this week, I believe. And not to put any ahead of anyone else, and I hope it doesn't sound like that, but I feel like the one that most people know is going to be Sabu. We lost Sabu Sunday.
I think it was Sunday was when the word spread.
Yeah,
I
Sunday.
didn't think he was the only one. Like as far as I know, nobody else of
No,
note had.
I thought I saw somewhere that a
But I mean,
couple
it's
more like
still, maybe indie or something. I mean, which
yeah, I'm not
obviously
sure.
and stuff. But I mean, nothing that I've been made aware of. But I mean, yeah. Anytime we lose a wrestler, it's tragic and stuff. But with Sabu, and this is something I've been doing a lot of thinking about since he passed because he was and the more I think about it, the more I realized he was actually very, very instrumental in a lot of the things that we see in the business now. And in all honesty, and this is going to be a 5-star hot take, I feel like, and I think it's going to kind of be not, it's going to kind of stink a little bit that if it does happen, it'll be posthumously. But I honestly feel like for the contributions he's made to the business, and I'll kind of go into detail about that here in a bit, I feel like he should be in the even in the WWE Hall of Fame. I feel like because when you think about it, Sabu was really the first extreme wrestler that ECW had because this is before, this is before Tommy Dreamer became the Tommy Dreamer that we know. This is when the Sandman played, I believe, like a lifeguard and wore a body like a wetsuit to the ring.
Yeah, it was Taz versus Sabu.
Taz was the Tasmaniac. He wasn't the human suplex machine. He just looked like a savage out of Tasmania.
Yeah, but in the course of their feud, he dropped all of that. I think I think that more or less due to the feud with Sabu, he dropped the goofy shit.
And I think that was a result of Sabu leaving, ECW high and dry to take a bigger payday to go to wrestle in Japan. But if you think about it, Sabu was the first real extreme wrestler because he was the first one that started doing the tables. And now you see that's so commonplace now, but it all started with him. He was one of those guys that really just like he loved, what he did, and he didn't give a fuck what happened to him, what he would do to himself in these matches. I mean, case in point, he had and what I think is the best Sabu match I've ever seen was with the barbed wire massacre with Terry Funk. I mean, during that match, he his arm got ripped open to the bone, and he tells Bill Alfonso to go get him some tape. And during the course of the match, he tapes up his arm, and I forgot what they said, like how many stitches or staples, but it was like about 100 something just to close his arm up. I mean, he's had matches where he's broken his jaw, and I mean, just you look at as recently as his last match at the Joey Janela Spring Break show, his retirement match, which was not, I don't even think that was,
like
it
a month
wasn't even
ago.
a month ago. Like, which is crazy to think, and just some of the stuff he did. I've not watched that match, but I've seen highlights of it and just some of the stuff he did there. You think about
that spill out of the bottom rope when the barbed wire broke was gross.
But you think about all of these other things that he did, and this was actually something that when I was listening to Busted Open on Monday, because they dedicated the entire show to him. It was Bully Ray, Tommy Dreamer, and Mark Henry, and I think it was Bully. It was either Bully or Tommy that said something along the lines of there would be those moments where like he would do like the insane triple jump moonsaults or whatever. It's like he would go to like jump on the ropes to launch himself, but then he would jump back, and it would look like he messed up. But when in actuality, and this is something I'd never even thought of, that a lot of those times I think he did that intentionally just to show that he wasn't perfect and stuff, because you're not always going to land the move perfectly, and he was just so good at kind of making himself do all these things, but at the same time fooling the crowd to think he really would mess up a lot when he in reality most of the time knew what he was doing.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't want to speak on that simply because I'm kind of led to believe that the mystique of that's the mystique of Sabu. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And I would tend to believe that you know, they're kind of putting him over, you know what I mean, in their
Oh yeah.
in
Well,
their
yeah.
in
They're
their own way. I mean,
yeah.
just simply because of where Sabu was at, you know, in his life a lot of the time when he was wrestling. I don't want to speak on that. It's especially
Right.
for somebody who's recently passed. But I don't think it's controversial to say, you know, that there were definitely times where he was not as there as what he could have been when he was wrestling. You know what I mean?
Right.
But you know, I mean, to me, with him and like the the slips and everything, again, that was just part of Sabu. You know what I mean? Was you know, half the time he was gonna miss what he was trying to do the first time, and by God, he was just gonna try it over and over again up until it worked.
Yeah.
Um,
And there's just so much more. I mean, you think about him when they ECW invaded Raw, and I think it was like '97 or whatever.
yeah, he took
When
that chokeslam from the Big Show,
he took that,
the
he took
Royal
the
Rumble.
took the choke slam from the Big Show. He actually, well, I'm talking when he went to Raw, when they did the Raw invasion in '97. He jumped off the Raw stage. You know, one of his
No,
just the letters and stuff. Like he did, did one of his, somersault planches or whatever. I mean, you think about just all of these moves. The match at one night stand, the second one night stand against Rey Mysterio, where he did the I think it was the triple jump DDT to Rey Mysterio through a table, and that
yep,
essentially ended the match. I mean, just the Arabian face busters where he would, take the chair and just basically drop it, do a leg drop onto the chair onto the wrestler. I mean, there's so many things, and it's just he really was one of a kind. I mean, there's never been anything like it, and it's just just part of his. He talked about the aura and the mystique, where all the scars that he had from all of the everything that he had done over the years. I mean, he had the barbed wire matches, the matches where like he was in the ring, with the ring being on the flaming, ring matches, or just so many different things. And
yeah, crazy Japanese shit.
right, crazy Japanese shit. That's a good way of putting it. But I mean, you think about too, and the one thing is, and I always think about this is, you can, and when you die, I think you can really tell what kind of impact you had on people, judging by what people would say about you in death in stuff. Because I always think about like with when my father passed away and like my mom passed away, I always thought to myself, like, just I kind of figured like what kind of people they were and what kind of impact they had made on this world based on like who all came to say their final goodbyes. And I remember when with my dad's service when I was speaking, and I was looking at the looking back at the church that it was at and just seeing like it was filled, and just it warmed my heart to see so many people there to pay their final respects, and everybody had such good things to say about him. And just from everything that I've seen with like everybody on Twitter, and it's just Sabu, going back to the whole mystique thing, was always very mysterious because he didn't speak. I mean, until he got to WWE's version of ECW, but I mean that was part of it and stuff. But from all accounts of what I heard is that they said he was a very humble, very most of the time he was a nice guy, and was very respectful and everything. And he really was one of a kind, and just he's one of those guys that when he came into the business, they broke the mold, because you'll never see anyone like him again.
Yeah, yeah. Sabu was, definitely, one of a kind, and and in the grand scheme of wrestling, I believe, like you said earlier, very, very, very underrated. So,
And he also was one of the he also that was one of the reasons why ECW went to pay-per-view, because when you think about that program he had with Taz that
mhm.
led up to the very first Barely Legal pay-per-view.
Yeah, yeah,
I mean,
because I mean, they feuded for like 2 years.
yeah, and they didn't touch, like when they started that feud, they didn't touch for a whole year until it
Yeah,
was bell time. And the funny thing was, I had forgotten about this until got brought up on Busted Open. That match wasn't even the main event of that show, but that was what that match was, what the show was built around.
Yes. Yeah, no, it was definitely the people's main event.
Yeah. So I mean, again, it's just, and it's just, again, like, he's been everywhere. I mean, think about all the stuff he did in FMW over in Japan. Everything he did in ECW. He had a brief stint in WCW. Like, he was there for basically a cup of coffee.
Yeah, like 4 months.
So, and then obviously the stuff he did in WWE with the ECW invasion, and then they kept him when they relaunched ECW, and I think he was there for about a year or so. And
he spent a lot of time in TNA as well.
Yeah, he did. And he had, if I'm not mistaken, he was part of the first barbed wire match that they put on. I think he did with Abyss, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, no, it was him and Raven and Abyss, and they were just doing like Clockwork Orange, House of Fun matches, and
yeah. But I mean, it's just he literally was everywhere and stuff. And I mean, I'll stand by my my hot take from earlier. I feel like he should be in the Hall of Fame, and I think it's going to be a shame that when it does happen, that it'll be posthumously. And a little bit of a side note, I think and this is kind of wrestling related, but it's more baseball related. Pete Rose is now Hall of Fame eligible.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's a long time overdue. Keeping a long dead man ineligible from entering a Hall of Fame. He will never be alive to see is not punishing him anymore. It's punishing his family. Punishing his fans and fans of baseball. It's pretty ridiculous. I mean, I get it. Lifetime bans are lifetime bans, whatever. But again, who are you punishing?
Yeah, that's very true. So, but I mean, again, rest in peace, Sabu. He definitely was one of a kind. Not to steal that from RVD's WWE theme, but yeah, I definitely think he I can only imagine what's going on in that ECW arena up in heaven right now.
Yeah, no, for sure. He joins the ranks of many ECW wrestlers who have passed on too early. So while we ruminate on that, Dennis, why don't you run the clip for Waukesha Sports?
Good idea. We'll be right back. Hey there, it's DDJ from 5 Star Takes, and when I come up to Milwaukee to see the Brewers play, there's one place that I always make it a point to stop at. Waukesha Sports Cards. Come on, let's go inside and check out what they got. Thank you. Thank you. Be sure to stop by one of their 3 locations or go to www.waukeshasportscards.com. And,
Charge.
And Waukesha Sports Cards will be one of the have a huge presence at the Milwaukee Card Show this weekend, of which I will be at along with my nephew and the hot one, Giovanni Tuhati. So definitely check them out online. If you're up in the area for a Brewers game, go check out their location. And
or even if you're in the area not for a Brewers game.
Yeah, absolutely. go check out the card show. This weekend if you're in the area, I'll be there. If you watch the show and you come see me, it'd make my day.
Even more than getting the who's a Brewers player who's lost me money this season. Jackson Chourio.
It's funny you bring him up because my nephew and I have a photo op with him this weekend.
Oh, can you tell him that he's lost your friend Shane Cash? Don't do that. Don't do that. It's not his fault. Well, it is his fault. But, it's funnier to think about.
If it was just me taking the picture, I'd make a sign that for him to hold that says, "Haha, Shane, you lost money because of me."
Well, then you're kind of making him own himself for not playing well. So
no, but you were the one that bet on him, so
yeah, dude, it's his fault, man. Don't make me turn heel on Jackson Chourio right now, dude.
Oh my god,
couldn't get 2 bases. Couldn't hit a home run.
You know what? You know what? I'm not going to even not dignify that with the response. But what I am going to dignify, well, I don't even know if that's even the right word to use.
Hell yeah, dude. People got released.
Oh, thank you. You just went there and dignified that, so...
Yeah, dude, you were looking for some dignification, so I figured that I would come through and be like, yeah, dude. Can get the fuck out of here, Braun Strowman.
Oh my god.
I'm sorry. I don't mean to laugh at somebody losing their jobs, but the amount of times that Braun Strowman has been mass budget cutted is crazy. It's like his 3rd time.
It's crazy, and I was really nervous when I had to break that news to my wife because again, my wife's not a huge wrestling fan. She will watch it with me if I have it on, but she loves Braun Strowman, and she was not happy about that.
Well, shoot. I mean, with him being out of there, I mean, she probably. I mean, I would imagine that Strowman, as long as he does the indie thing, I mean, I imagine you'll see him somewhere in the Chicagoland area.
Oh, absolutely. And I mean, we met him. He did a. I want to say I don't think it was that long before he got. I'd have to go back and look at my pictures, but I don't think it was that long before he had gotten rehired back. He actually did an appearance at the Schaumburg Boomer Stadium for like a pro wrestling night. He was there. It was him and I believe Eric Young. And so my wife that wanted to go because, like I said, she loves Braun Strowman and stuff. And from what I understand with him was that he was released, but it was kind of one of those things where, like, if there's a story or something, they would bring him back. But I guess it's something about like he's got partial leg paralysis or something?
Oh man,
it's just something with one of his legs and stuff. So, I mean,
I was not aware of that.
The thing is with Braun Strowman too is just I feel like that they never really got I think used him properly. I mean, yeah, he had I believe a title reign, or just I think he had one title reign with the Universal title during the COVID era and stuff. But I feel like he should have had so much more. I don't know what it was or what they felt was missing, but I felt like he could have been one of those guys that could have had a couple of dominant world championship reigns and stuff.
Yeah, no, I just don't. You good over there, buddy?
Yeah, sorry, just a little hiccup.
It looked like you're about to puke. I was like, oh,
no,
shit.
just hiccup.
Yeah, no, I don't know. I just don't think it was ever fully there for Braun.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it be in-ring work, whether it be star power, whether it be character work, whatever. I think that he could have massively benefited from more time in NXT. Early in his career. I mean, and again, I'm not shitting on Braun Strowman. He was massively improved. From where he started. And yeah, not to bring up, and we're not going to go in depth fully on all of these, but there are a couple ones that we should talk a little bit more fully about. But it's just kind of like Dakota Kai, like what are you going to do with this person right now?
That was the one that I think got me the most, because I really felt like she should have she didn't get a fair shake at all. I know part of it was she's had trouble with injuries and stuff, but I felt like she was one of those ones that the crowd was really behind and really wanted, like would have been one of those ones that were I guess kind of like the Daniel Bryan and stuff, where the people were just really into them and wanted that person to do well, and just for what reasons or another it didn't happen. But I mean, that was the one that got me. I was also kind of upset about Shayna Baszler being released, because I felt like if we had gotten the NXT version of Shayna Baszler on the main roster, she would not only still be employed by the WWE, but she probably would be a multiple time women's champion, because she was a badass in NXT. Like, she was really like the irresistible force or the immovable object, and just it's just for some reason just didn't translate on the main roster for her.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, she'll be fine. I mean, I bet you she'll go I bet you she'll go to Japan.
She'll either go there, or she'll definitely, a lot of these people will make killings on the indies. I mean, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I want to bring it back to Dakota real quick.
Sure, go right ahead.
I think unfortunately for Dakota, Triple H right now is just not super interested in work rate. Mm-hmm. Like, I mean, I think that he wants good wrestlers. I just don't think that putting on like a 5-star classic is something that Triple H cares about right now. I think that he's much more interested in storylines. I think he's much more interested in matches that advance storylines, that act as angles. And I think unfortunately for Dakota, other than being like a smiley baby face, I think of Dakota as a great worker, but not much more than that. I mean, super unfortunately for her, like, because her program, I mean, not her program, but her series of matches with Lyra were awesome. The one to crown Lyra, I believe it was the pilot episode of Raw on Netflix.
When she won the no, it was the second episode, I believe. It was the
second. Okay. Yeah, but it was fucking awesome. I mean, they did the suplex from the apron to the floor, and it was great. But do you remember anything from those two interacting other than the matches?
Fair point. Yeah, because I really can't think of anything.
I mean, again, I think that Dakota, like you said, will do extremely well. I think that, just kind of unfortunately for her, it's not it's not you, it's me situation.
Right. So, I mean, here, look, I have the list right here on my phone. So we got those. We talked about Strowman. We talked about Kai. We talked about Baszler. We had Kaden Carter and Katana Chance, who, for what they were, I mean, they did have a couple runs with the women's, or I know they had a run, I believe, with the NXT Women's Tag Team Championships, and then they also had a run with the WWE Women's Tag Team Championships. And with them,
I mean, you want to talk about a couple ladies that weren't given the opportunities that they should have been. I mean, those two. You want to? I mean, just the tag team moves that they did. Unfortunately, kind of like Dakota, just totally unremarkable everywhere other than in ring.
Right, and then you look at the list of the NXT talent, and we had some of the lesser known, or I guess I shouldn't say lesser known names, but the less prominent members. We had Danny Palmer, who I believe was doing stuff with Evolve. and I think she had suffered an injury. So I think she had retired basically around the time she was cut. She had announced she was retiring as well too. We had Javier Bernal, Oro Mensa, who was a part of Metaphor, who
Yeah, as well as Jakara
yeah.
Jackson.
Then we had
which was crazy. I don't mean to cut you
Oh,
off.
you're good. You're good.
But on that last episode of NXT before the cuts, Metaphor broke up. It was the last you saw of them.
Yeah,
That's crazy. They're like, yeah, we're all going our separate ways. You know, Lash Legend is got her thing going on, and Noam Dar, you know, you're
cut back.
Yeah, you got your cut back, and you know, Oro Mensa is doing his thing on Evolve, and Jakara Jackson, she's about to do something.
Right.
Yeah, and then it's like they've been released, and it's like, oh, geez.
Yeah. And then you had, the 3 members of Gallus who I believe were on Evolve as well too. And for a while they were very prominently featured in NXT, and then they were also a big part of the NXT UK brand.
Yeah, those guys will go directly back to Europe and be the biggest stars they have over there.
Yeah, Riley Osborne, formerly of Chase U, who was gone Evolve. We mentioned Jakara Jackson. We had Eddie Thorpe, who I was really starting to get into with this since he had turned heel with, what he was trying to win the NXT championship. I was really getting into that.
Yeah, I almost wonder if they were really split on him backstage, maybe as far as his development or his ceiling or whatever, because he received that like seismic push kind of out of nowhere. You know what I mean? And then it was weird, and then he had lost, and then he just kind of disappeared, and then he got released. I mean, I just wonder if they weren't happy with, you know what I mean? You know, totally.
No, I get what you're saying.
How that went. And they're just like, we're gonna do this, and if it doesn't work, we'll cut our losses and move.
Right. And I mean, he could probably go back to. I could see him maybe going back to New Japan, because I believe that's where he was before he went to NXT.
Yeah. I mean, he could be a good solid addition to Tony Khan's Ring of Honor as well. I think that's probably a decent place for Eddie Thorpe. You know, TNA obviously would be fine.
Yeah. Speaking of TNA, we had Cora Jade was one of the releases. I know she was doing a lot of work in TNA. I believe she just recently wrestled Masha Slamovich for the Knockouts Championship on one of their big shows. And then
and that one was probably the most shocking to me out of any of these, because I mean, it just seemed like they had pretty good plans for her.
Well, I think they did, but I feel like the injuries played a part in that. And then also too, from what I've seen, and I mean, again, this is all pure speculation, is that she was more, I think, about herself or how she looked versus, trying to improve in the ring, is kind of something I heard along the lines and stuff. But so a funny Cora Jade story. Have you seen the video? I think they showed it with like when Punk came back and he was down in NXT, where Cora Jade, who I believe was like probably somewhat in her teens, she met CM Punk at an autograph signing at a comic book store. Did you see this video?
I don't believe so.
Well, there's a video out there of like it was at a comic book store in Chicago, and then I want to say this was like one of the, if not the first signing that he did after he was fired by WWE. So this was, I want to say, like 2015, 2016. And he was, I think this is when he was just getting into going to the UFC. But like there's a video of Cora Jade out there meeting Punk at this signing, and actually one of my really good friends and a friend of the show, and actually it's actually Jimmy from Superpowers Comics was actually working that signing, because he used to work at the comic book store this show was at, and he told me that they had a thing where like you couldn't record video and stuff, and she tried secretly recording video from her phone, and she had it kind of tucked in her coat sleeve. And
is it the one where Punk like looks at it, goes, and then
I believe, yes.
Yeah, okay. So I saw that back in the day. I did not know that it was her though. So
yeah, that was Cora Jade, and that was my friend Jimmy was the one that was had to make her erase the video off her phone.
Well, they didn't do a very good job.
No. This was the video of from her phone, not the video of, because that was actually like, I think they like what I think that was actually like that for documentary purposes. But like she had her phone like secretly tucked in her sleeve, trying to covertly record it and stuff. And I think Punk saw it or something. And I think it was either he or one of the guys that owned the shop had told my friend Jimmy to tell her that she had to erase that video.
Man,
So,
that's pretty dumb.
Yeah, but well, I don't necessarily. I'm not. I don't want to say this is dumb because I don't. And stuff. But I know you think this last release was probably dumb. Would be very kind, and that was Gigi Dolin. And I want to say I remember when I saw that one. You were the first person I thought of, and I said Shane's probably throwing every piece of furniture in his room, these broken windows, and I have to ask you, being the Gigi Dolin fan that you were at the time, when you heard the news about this, well, I see that look and I'm starting to get scared. So
you want to talk about the WWE not understanding talent, not understanding the level of wrestler that they had in their roster. First of all, they didn't give her any fucking opportunities up until like the whole time with Toxic Attraction and at the very end. Second off, what are you doing? You look at a woman like Gigi Dolin and you go, I don't want this person on my roster. My goodness, what a legendary fumble, dude. GCW is already capitalizing, dude. Elena Black on 5 dates. And then my new favorite, Priscilla Kelly on 2.
Oh boy. So bring back, I guess we're gonna see the return of the bloody tampon.
Oh, maybe. I mean, we could. Yeah, I mean, some tells me that might be like a gag bring back, or she might just leave that one alone and just hey, I did that one time, and that's probably enough times.
Yeah, because I know that really.
Oh God, it made Jim Cornette so fucking mad.
And that was definitely interesting. I wasn't a huge fan of it myself, but again, you know what? To each his or her own.
Yeah, I mean, again, the bottom line is that girl did that. Went super viral and then was signed to WWE a couple months later.
Yeah,
that's all I know is she found something for everyone to talk about.
And I was, well, I was saddened by it because I kind of liked the group that she had with Tatum Paxley and Shotzi not necessarily released, but it was announced that her contract wasn't going to be renewed. And I know she's got some stuff already lined up, so good for her. But I just felt like when they split Toxic Attraction up after like Mandy Rose had gotten fired, it just, to me, it was never the same. It was, I mean, JC Jane's doing her stuff with Fatal Influence, but just felt like, Gigi Dolin never fully recovered from Mandy Rose's firing and the subsequent breakup of Toxic Attraction.
Well, she got hurt as well.
Too, yes.
Yeah, she was hurt for a while. I mean, she did have. I mean, there's definitely one super memorable moment she had post Toxic Attraction breaking up. She was wrestling. What's her fucking name that you literally just said? The other one.
Shotzi?
No, with the black hair from Fatal Influence. JC Jane.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, do you remember when they were doing? I think it was In Your House, and then they had a 1-on-1 match, and then JC like double pump kicked like Gigi Dolin's face through the door. Do you remember that?
Oh yes, when they broke up.
Yeah, when they broke up, and then
it was the Bailey segment, the ding dong or whatever.
Yeah. I mean, and then like her face. I mean, just destroyed her.
Now that you bring that up, I do remember that because just the sound that made.
Well, I mean, I'm not going to threaten anybody online, but you should just know what was going through my head to protect Gigi.
And on that note, Shane, before you get too worked up, what do you say we get out of here?
Oh, what do you say, DDJ?
It's a little bit of a throwback to my very first podcast that I did.
Yes, it is. It is a throwback. And speaking of throwbacks, he's been Dennis.
He's been Shane.
I've been Shane. We've been 5-star takes.
So wait a minute. So now that Gigi Dolin has been released, no more Gigi Dolin rants.
They'll turn into Priscilla Kelly rants.
God damn it.
Yeah, that's right.
God damn it.
Sorry, bro. Legends of the Ring Sting, man. This is a great figure, old school figure. Looks great. It's Sting! Old school Sting from WCW. Guys, you know us, 3/4 of the Shooting Shit team, and we're here with a listener just like you guys. This is Jimmy from Super Powers Comics.
My friend of almost 20 years. He's known him since you were 12.
If you know people in Chicago, you probably know Dennis because he knows half the town, of course. But shooters, if you need action figures, comics, wrestling memorabilia, we just showed you Sting. Superpowers Comics will put up their QR code so you can get a good look at everything they have coming. Give it a shot, shooters. Get your superpowers on and get your comics from our friend Jimmy, who listens just like you.
Save 25% on your first order when you use the code 5-star.
Attention wrestling fans and fans of Shootin' Shit podcasts. You can now be one of the cool kids by going to ProWrestlingTees.com and buy the official Shootin' Shit t-shirt. Buy it now and be there at ringside.
This episode and all episodes of 5-Star Takes are now available on YouTube at www.youtube.com/@5-star takes. Be sure to like and subscribe. Get all of your 5-Star Takes news and updates by going to our Facebook page at www.facebook.com/SHOOTINSHT. And as always, thanks for watching.